Hello, Knights fans. Welcome back to another edition of the FDU Men's Basketball Report. Here with Coach Greg Herenda. Coach, another hard-fought game, 90-87 loss at Towson on Saturday. Wild game.
Yes.
I mean, you held them to 0 for 7 from 3,
Right.
but they also shot 53 free throws. Was that one of the weirder games you've been a part of?
Well, it's really hard to guard free throws. You can't. There's no defense. The defense is don't foul them. And obviously, at the end of the game, we fought to the very last second. So the last 2 minutes, there were a plethora. There were a lot of free throws. But Towson, that was the third time we played them, and they figured out they're a strong, physical CAA team. They're a really good team, I think. They played Maryland and BC tough, and they just took it at us. And it was hard not to foul them. We wanted to take away their three-point shooting, obviously, but we didn't intend on giving them a lot of free throws and a lot of baskets from point blank range. But that's a good team on the road, and that's the formula we've been playing. We haven't played Army's good and Iona's good and Seton Hall's good, Ohio State's good, and it's a learning process, but it's not easy. But these guys, I told them day in and day out, we just have to continue to try to put two halves together on the road, which is hard at any level, whether you're in the NBA, the NFL, or NCAA basketball. So we will do that, and we have the opportunity now at Rutgers. It doesn't get easier. Steve Pikel's doing an incredible job there at Rutgers, and Mick Cronin and his staff are doing a great job at Cincinnati. So it's really competitive, and it's difficult, but I love it, to be honest with you. But it's at the end of the day, when you don't get to win, it's painful. But down the road, I know I sound like a record that's skipping, but it's only going to help our basketball team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you touched on Rutgers coming up on Wednesday. 9-1 team. You played them all 3 of your seasons here. You got them the first year, then they've come back and taken 2 from you the last 2 years. New coach and Steve Pikel. What have you seen from Rutgers on tape, and what do you want from your team to try to come away with a win?
No, I think they're a really sound defensive team. They're a very good rebounding team. They're a little bit longer and more athletic, so they cover up space. But I think we're really good, and I know it's hard to see that. But I think our guards can compete with their guards. I think our bigs can compete with their bigs. But it's a matter of putting it together for 40 minutes as opposed to 20. But I've got a lot of respect for the state university, for Coach Pikel and his team. But we're going down there to win the basketball game. I mean, we were, the last 2 weeks we were at Cincinnati, at Ohio State. We should have had a lead down 1 at Towson and had a 10-point lead. So we're in a position to win. We've got to finish the job.
Mm-hmm. And then also Cincinnati coming up on Saturday, wrap up non-conference play against a tough team. They're ranked 23rd in the country as of today, so tough game. How have these games against bigger teams like Ohio State and Seton Hall and Rutgers prepared you for a team that's Cincinnati, who plays physical defense and tries to limit our opponents?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be in shock that they come out and they get after us and that the arena is big and the lights are on. It's been kind of status quo the last 3 or 4 weeks here, and I think playing at Cincinnati is another entirely different species in that they've won national championships. Oscar Roberts, I used to work for Oscar Robertson when I coached in the Cincinnati stuff. We're going to a few of the same restaurants that we used to go to when I was back there. But historically, when you play the Ohio States and the Cincinnatis and the Villanovas and the Arizonas and the Notre Dames, I go on and on with our schedule. It's historic for our program, for our players, and for the university. So it's Cincinnati's going to be a lot of fun, but it's going to be hard. But we have 2 games left before our conference. We need to win games and improve and get healthier, and obviously we're getting healthier. Gus had another setback when he came back, but Earl's playing more minutes, and the chemistry with him and the team is improving. So we're going. It's hard to see, but we're going in the right direction. And once we get into our league, we'll be in a good place.
And we got to talk about Darian Anderson.
Yes.
71 straight games. He started every game since he's come here to FDU.
Yes.
Just scored his 1,000th point and a career high 33 points against Towson. Just talk about what he means to the program.
Yeah, Darian it's funny. I'll never forget the first time in the fall of his senior year. I was sitting with Mark Turgeon watching him play because of 5 of his four of his teammates, 5 players, got Division I scholarships. And I just remembered saying to Mark, and Mark agreeing with me, that this kid could play on a Maryland football team. He's tenacious. He's fearless. He's been a leader. And when I got here, Brian, you weren't here, but I gave the ball to Sid Sanders. And he had a terrific year, a Hall of Fame year for us. And then when Darian came, I gave him the ball. So I instilled confidence in my guards. My guards, everywhere I've been, play really well, but you have to have good ones for that to happen. And Darian has become a leader. He guards, he rebounds, he scores the basketball, and it really hurts him to get that 1,000 point, but it wasn't in a victory. He wants to win more than anyone, and you can see that. He wears that, right on his jersey. But really happy for Darian. I was happy for Steph and Earl too to go down to Towson in Maryland in front of their families and play really well. It was just too bad it couldn't have been a victory, but Towson, it was tough beating those guys 3 years in a row. But I'm glad that contract's over. We're not going to play Towson anymore. Our schedule needs to change. I don't need to continue to play against monsters every night, but ultimately it's helped us. But Darien Anderson getting 1,000. I can't wait for our home crowd to recognize that feat. It was a great feat, and there's more to his book, and he'll be writing more chapters, as well as Steph and Earl and Mike and the rest.
All right, thanks again for your time today, Coach. Good luck with these last 2 non-conference games.
Very welcome. Thank you.
So the Knights head down to the RAC to take on interstate rival Rutgers at 7 p.m. on Wednesday night before they're back on the road to finish up non-conference play against Cincinnati Bearcats. For more information about the FDU men's basketball team, head to FDUKnights.com.